Okay, it's been a long time coming, but finally I'm back here once again with a book review, and this time I'll be reviewing this, which is Rey Mysterio Behind the Mask. It's written by, let me see, Rey Mysterio with Jeremy Roberts. If I remember correctly, Jeremy Roberts was the guy who wrote Ric Flair's book with Ric Flair back about 5 years ago. I'm not too sure about that, but I'm sure Jeremy Roberts has written a WWE book before. Obviously the subject of the book is Rey Mysterio, his career starting from his early days in AAA, starting out to learning how to be a wrestler at the age of about like 15 years old, when he was like about 5 foot tall and only weighed like 120 pounds or something. I went from a little tiny scrawny skinny kid to becoming World Heavyweight Champion in WWE. It leads us up to the WrestleMania where he beat JBL, I think is one of the last pages. What was that, WrestleMania 23 or something like that, maybe 22. But yeah, it goes quite a long way, so it's quite a recent book. Tells us a lot about his WWE career. Price of this book was £18.99. I got it free through university through this thing we have. But if I was to pay £18.99, it is a hardback edition, just for anyone wondering, because £18.99 for a paperback is ridiculous. But £18.99 for the hardback edition. Would I recommend people buying this for £19? I wouldn't say so. That's probably what, like $38 or something like that. Would you pay $38 for this book, a book on Rey Mysterio? I personally wouldn't recommend it. Like, I wouldn't say it's worth $19. It's got like 358 pages in the book. That's probably like the best thing about the book, in my opinion, is the amount that's in the book. There's quite a lot. But the writing's quite big. The writing's not small, so it takes you like less than probably about a minute to read it. Like, each double up at like 2 pages. So I did get quite a lot of mileage out of this book, because I didn't really read it all at once. I'd read like 2 pages here, 3 pages there. I've just read like the last 25 pages just in a row, because I noticed I'd nearly finished it. I had time to make a video, so I thought if I finish it now, I can record a video, upload it, sorted. What else we got here? Pros and cons about this book. The cons are, this is something that I only just noticed it reading this book. I don't know if in any of the other books it's happened like this, but he talks a lot about in-ring action. He basically this is just like a DVD basically, just written down, like a lot of, well, actually no, not to that extent. And another book I've been reading at the same time, and Andre the Giant's book, is a lot like that. But this talks a lot about, in too much detail in my opinion, and tells me too much about stuff that he did in the ring. And basically I could have just watched DVDs to find out this stuff. He didn't need to write about it in there. What I like to read in wrestling books is behind the scenes stuff about how storylines came to fruition, who came up with the idea, what he thought of the idea, who he got along with, who he quarrelled with, etc, etc. Basically the juicy stuff, information that we don't already know. Like, I can watch his matches, and most of the matches he talks about in this book I've already seen. So things he was describing was things I'd already seen. So it's a bit like, why am I reading this? I already know all about this. Like, I could have written this if all that was going to be. He did write a lot about his personal family, which is alright to know. If you're really interested in Rey Mysterio, then I want to keep showing you this book. You know what it looks like now. I'm just going to put it to the side there. Yeah, it's quite interesting learning about his wife Angie and his daughter Aaliyah and his son Dominic, and what he thinks about angles where he introduced him to the shows and stuff like that. And when they were in China and there was an earthquake, not China doll, there was in the country China. Imagine the Mysterio family in China. That would be really a dodgy film, wouldn't it? What else have I got here on my list? Pros and cons. Yeah, cons are that just too many times in the book he just tell me about storylines that I already know all about, and they didn't really tell me like how he felt about them. And it was like, the book wasn't kayfabed, it was quite open, but still it was kayfabed to a certain extent. I understand why they did that, because like a lot of his fans would be like of the younger generation, and a lot of the younger generation would, if they were going to buy any WWE book, it would have been this, because the writing's a lot bigger and it's like a lot easier to read basically. And obviously WWE don't really want to ruin the mystique of wrestling. They did throw in a few times that this is fake, like sort of thing, like to say it is predetermined, don't like, so they do know, but it wasn't like a really open book, like, oh, it was a work all the time. They didn't really go into too much detail about that kind of thing. A really interesting thing that I found, it was right at the back of the book, the acknowledgements, is that what the people that he's acknowledging, he acknowledges Wild Pegasus, which is Chris Benoit. Now, I'm pretty sure this book came out after the death of Benoit, and obviously he couldn't say that he thanks Benoit in the book, but he put Wild Pegasus in the back. And I'm thinking he did that because he wanted to thank him, but he knew that he couldn't because WWE would not publish it if it said he thanks Chris Benoit in the book. I don't think there's a single mention of Benoit throughout the entire book, the name Benoit. But at the back it says thank you to Wild Pegasus, which I thought was really interesting. That he put that. Nice way to sneak it in. Obviously the person who checked the book wasn't like a wrestling smart ass, so they didn't look at that and go, well, Pegasus, that's Chris Benoit, you can't have Chris Benoit because he's a killer, we can't be promoting him. But yeah, that was a really interesting little thing at the back. Rating out of 10, I give this like a 5.5 out of 10. It's not terrible, but it's just the middle of the road basically. It's got some interesting things in it, but there's not really too much. The stuff about when he was in Mexico was pretty interesting, and the stuff right at the end of the book where obviously that acknowledgement of Benoit, stuff where he talks about Eddie Guerrero's death and the fact that he went in the hotel and leaned over him and said a little prayer, and that same day his mother had just bought him a rosary, and it had this little thing attached to it in English, and his mother couldn't read English. And when May read it, it said something like to give someone a helpful passing when dying, so then he put it in Eddie Guerrero's hands at the funeral. That was a nice little story, really interesting, really like a sweet thing to do for a past friend. Yeah, I found that quite interesting, but apart from that there wasn't too much of interest in the entire book, and when it's 358 pages long you sort of expect a lot more interesting stuff to be in there. Who would I recommend this book to? I'd recommend this book to the younger generation, early teens, Rey Mysterio fans. If you're a Rey Mysterio fan, this book's going to really interest you. But I'm a massive Rey Mysterio fan. I like Rey Mysterio. I think he's a really talented worker, but this book didn't really do it for me. But yeah, if you're heavy on books, then read this. If you're a massive Rey Mysterio fan, read this. If you're a younger teen trying to get into reading books and reading about a wrestler, for example, who you enjoy, like Rey Mysterio, would be a good way to get you into reading books, like especially this modern culture of always on the internet. I mean, once blame, I'm always online every single day. I'm on the internet for something, at least for half an hour a day or something like that. But yeah, with that, so have you read the book? If you have, please tell me what you think of it. If not, tell me if you were thinking of picking it up, or why you are thinking of picking it up, why you're not thinking of picking it up. Has this review helped you in any way? What do you think of my book reviews? Do you like my book reviews? Because I personally, that's my favourite kind of video to do, because not many other people are doing them out there, so I sort of take it as my corner of the wrestling vlog market, where I talk about books in my videos, and do videos specifically all about one book, and I do it for every single wrestling book that I've read, and I think I've read like 25 now. I'm halfway through Under the Giants and a few others, but yeah, with that, I'm out. Thank you for watching. Please rate and comment, and if you like watching my videos, please subscribe. If you're watching this and you don't have a YouTube account, why not go get a YouTube account right now? It's free. You can subscribe for free. It's all free. Why don't you do it? And yeah, with that, I'm out. Thank you for watching. See you later.